What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Sheehan Show here on Sherdog.com. My name is Sean Sheehan, and today we're looking back at PFL 9 2024, which went down on August 23rd, 2024, over in the Anthem in Washington D.C, United States. And you know what? It was a pretty good crowd, pretty good main event. The card overall, there was some. Do you know what I would say the card was? It wasn't. Dana White would have liked this card too much, if you want to put it that way. There wasn't that many like rock'em, sock'em, knockout, barn burner, fight of the years, apart from the main event, which I actually thought was a fight of the year contender. But there were a lot of good technical fights throughout it. A lot of rounds, a lot to get into if you like technique and if you like taking notes during fights. For me as well, it was a good long night. I usually talk about the format and stuff of PFL around here, but this week I'm going to have a look back at the playoffs in general. I know at the end of the year I always look back at the whole year, which I will do as well towards the end of this year, but I'm going to look back at the 3 playoff cards, look at a few maybe stats, maybe not necessarily what could change, but how things went this year, and the way we're looking going forward as well. So look forward to that later in the week. But today, I'm just going to look back at this card. And first of all, just to bring you, I suppose, I usually do this at the end, but the results of the fights that mattered, let's say. Lochnan, Umalatov, Kizriev, and Musayev won. So in the finale, it will be Umalatov versus Musayev and Kizriev against Lochnan. Now, I believe they're all the favorites. That's what everyone was expecting. But it wasn't as easy or as simple as that at all. And all of these, 2 of those fights were split decisions. One of those fights split decisions was the Berkman fight I'm looking at here as well. I'm actually, never mind. 2 of those fights were split decisions. Now, was the main event a split decision? We'll get into that in a second. But it was certainly one of those cards where I think you learn a lot from. And we'll talk about what we learned in each of the fights here, and the next day we'll talk about what we learned in terms of maybe the tactics, because I think that was an interesting part of it too. But let's get into the main event, because that was undoubtedly, if you're giving out a Fight of the Night award, this was the Fight of the Night. I very much enjoyed it. You could see on both of these guys' faces, and in both tactical game plans, these guys really respected each other. They knew what this fight was going to be, you know. And I spoke about them coming in, and you know, there was no doubt about that for me either coming in, to be honest. But it showed in practice. They both fought well. They both had to be brave at times. They both had to be defensive at times, but they both knew that they couldn't be defensive throughout the whole fight, that they had to throw out their offense as well. And I think they did it really, really well. And you know what it turned into? Like, it turned into, for me, and I tweeted this beforehand, so maybe it's just because I was right, but like, it turned into a really fun technical battle. I think if you sat down and you expected what I expected from this fight, you would have really enjoyed it. And what I expected was that. I didn't expect the finish. I didn't expect blood and guts. I expected someone to do something that forced the other guy to adjust. Forced. That was very Irish. Forced. And we had that multiple times, in my opinion, throughout this fight. And when that does happen, you know that there's going to be there's going to be one guy who comes out on top, if you want to put it that way. When there's a technical battle, especially when you have 5 long minutes in a round and 15 long minutes in a fight, when there is problem solving in it, usually by the second or third round, now someone gets to the winning side of it, which they did in that fight. Now, maybe I'm talking through my arse there. Maybe that's not always the case, because some fights are just back and forth and close throughout it. But I think in a fight like this, it was kind of always going to happen that someone would eventually win the day, and for me they did, and that was Brendan Loughnane in this one. But let's get into the start of the fight, and we'll go through it. So it started out with Brendan Loughnane throwing a jab and Kai Kamaka throwing a leg kick. So I was kind of thinking to myself here, and Kai was also very, very defensive of the leg kicks early. Now this changed, I suppose, quickly enough, but I had in my head then after 10 seconds of this fight that this is going to be Loughnane, who likes to throw a lot of leg kicks, but Kai being very respectful of him. Loughnane adjusting to jab more than kick, and Kai is going to be the one who throws the kicks. That changed very quickly as they both landed a lot of leg kicks and a lot of calf kicks. Actually, I saw a lot of, and this is one adjustment that I thought was really smart. Loughnane was throwing your old school kicks to the thigh because Kai Kamaka kept lifting his foot and to defend the calf kick very well. Very smart thing, I think, from Loughnane. Are they as effective? Will they change the fight as much? No, but there's still shots landed, and if you land enough of them, it will affect the fight. So very, very good stuff there. Kai Kamaka was throwing very hard as well. You know, Kai is, as we've seen, I spoke to him, but watching a lot of his fights and analysing a lot of his fights on here, pre and post fight, we know what type of fighter Kai Kamaka is. And what type of fighter is he? He is a technical fighter who likes to throw his shots and, you know, bring them back and throw them again and land them rather than, you know, dive into them. This was different. He was doing that as well, but he was diving into them this time, throwing the big shots, power. But through 2 minutes, it was all calf kicks. You know, Kai, I thought, was avoiding them better. Brendan's jab was probably landing better. Both were hitting to the body very well. There was a 1-2 from Brendan. That was probably the best shot of the opening 4 minutes. But the biggest shot of the whole fight and the biggest shot of this round, which was extremely close, I think it was 4-20. I never think this. I was thinking 10-10 in my mind. I was thinking like, this is exactly the same. I'm thinking I'm going like, who's more aggressive here? I'm going to octagon control and everything, but we didn't need it. Loughnane spun to the body and hurt Kamaka badly. Played it off all right for a second, but then he couldn't play it off anymore. It was clearly hurt to the liver or whatever it was. And then a huge Loughnane barrage. And he kind of broke through the guard of Kai Kamaka, dropped him with about 10 seconds left. If there was 30 seconds left, I think the fight probably would have been over because Loughnane very good in that position. But Kamaka was able to withstand it, and Mario Yamasaki left it go correctly. So I don't see anything wrong with it from my side. Second round, both came out throwing combos at one after the other. So Kamaka came out first, combo. Loughnane, combo. Kamaka, combo. Really fun stuff. Really, really good. It was a big right hand from Kai. Both landed some leg kicks, but I thought Brendan's were a little bit better. And then Brendan landed a right hand, which was answered by Kai as well. Through the middle of the round, Kai Kamaka landed a lovely 3-2, as Sean O'Connell called it. And I'll be honest, I thought he was ahead at that stage, but spin lands again for Loughnane, and it landed a second time. And I don't think it hurt him nearly as much, but when you see a shot like that hurt the guy so badly and he lands it clean twice again, I think you have to score those shots. Kai landed a nice shot on the inside. Brendan was landing some leg kicks, and he landed a few head kicks towards the end of the round again. Very close round. I lean for Loughnane. Loughnane obviously won the first round, no debate about that at all. But I lean to Loughnane in the second round. As I said, I thought Kai Kamaka was ahead through 3 minutes maybe ish, and then Loughnane, those few head kicks later. One of the head kicks landed well, a couple of others like half blocked type of thing, but still they add up in a close round like that. Third round then, both were landing jabs. I thought the best kind of jabbing battle of the fight was early in the third round. Kai landed a lovely knee to the body, and then they both landed hard in exchanges. Kai was coming for him, like he was going for it at a high pace, but Loughnane loves that. That's the type of fight Loughnane always wants. And if you think I'm mispronouncing his name, I'm from the area where his ancestors are from, and that's how it's said here. So I can't. It's like someone called McGrath. I can't call him McGrath, or a Cal. I can't call him Cahill. You know, it's Loughnane to me. It'll always be Loughnane. I'm going to continue with that. Enjoy it. But do you know what Loughnane was? And what won him this whole fight, in my opinion, I was thinking about it in the middle of the third round, speed. He's so fast. Like Loughnane, if you're to make like a world, you make a I'm sure American footballers will be like, whose right hand would you have? You know, you'd have Tom Brady. Whose left hand would you have? Whoever it is. Like, whose leg would you have? Adam Vinatieri. Oh, that's some pull by me. And like, whose speed would you have? You might have, you know, I don't know, Megatron. Was he good? Was he fast? You know, whose athleticism unit would you have? Whoever, right? I actually think Brendan Loughnane's speed for his size and his defensive ability with that speed is really good. Now he's been caught a few times, but he's a guy who puts himself in there. There's very few guys who fight the way he can, not always does, but fight the way he does the odd time and are as good defensively as him. Just really good, and it's his head movement and intelligence, but the speed. He's such a fast fighter. He landed a head kick again here in the third, but there was a lovely one too by Kai Kamaka. Loughnane went for a takedown, but again a lovely sprawl by Kai Kamaka. But Brendan, I thought, was landing the much better work in the third. I think by far he landed another head kick late, which was better than the other ones before it. And to me, that was definitely a Brendan Loughnane round. So the decision was red, and he won the split decision. Now, I believe it was Dave Torelli who gave the card for Kamaka. I know I saw a few people saying, you know, Kamaka cards. I could see Kamaka winning the third, but the second. But can I see him winning the first or the third? Definitely not the first for me. Definitely not the third. No. So I don't like that Kamaka card at all. I think it's a bad card, and it wasn't the only one from Dave Torelli in this. But Brendan Loughnane moves on, and he'll be going for the second million. We will. We'll go. No, we won't. We'll go fight by fight. So the co-main event was Magomed Umalatov versus Neiman Gracie, and again, not a classic, but probably a better fight than it had any right to be. You know, Gracie threw his, he talked the talk and he threw his shots and he went for it and when tried to get the fight to the ground when he could, and it was a good performance from him. But Magomed Umalatov was just too much. He was fighting very much on the outside, which is not necessarily like him. You know, Gracie was trying to punch his way in, which was smart. Gracie almost got the back when Mago slipped. And then it was a right hand from Magomed Umalatov, which was the best shot of the first 90 seconds-ish of the fight. Gracie didn't try to clinch and pull guard, but that didn't work. Another right hand by Magomed, and then another calf kick as well. There were some okay punches in from Gracie, but Magomed landed a hard right hand, and you're kind of thinking, well, no matter what Gracie does here, even if he strikes are good, Magomed's just going to be better. His jabs kept him winning. He just jabbed his way towards the end of the round, and he landed a lovely knee in to seal it. Definitely an Umalatov round. The second round, Magomed was going to the body more. He tripped him, but he didn't go to the floor. He was just picking every shot. Gracie landed a nice combo, and then he landed a right hand, and it was the middle part of the second round was very good for Gracie. Magomed landed an uppercut and then a left hook, which were good hard shots. He went to the body, head and legs, and why I wrote that in my notes was Gracie was only going to the head. No body shots, not many leg kicks, no head kicks. You know, very one-dimensional, where Magomed wasn't exactly the most varied fighter in the world, but he had 3 or 4 different ways to hurt you, and he did that, whereas Gracie kind of fell down. And it was a hard one, too, from Gracie all the same, though. Came out fighting and landed a few and nearly got a takedown late. So, you know, I wouldn't give Gracie that round, right? But you could you see someone giving him? No, probably not. Let's be honest. Started the third round, the right hand hurt Gracie, and in a second dropped him. And I thought the fight was going to be over here. Magomed goes into his guard with punches, and then goes into his guard completely. So Mission Control is next in, full guard for Gracie. Goes for the leg lock, but it's no good, and they get up. Going for a leg lock in MMA these days, but they both landed hard on the feet. Gracie was marching forward, fair play to him, landed a hard right hand. Then he went for a flying armbar and a calf slicer when they fell down. No good, obviously. Magomed got in top half guard, butterfly hooks for the Gracie, and then into full guard, went for the Gogo Plata, but that was no good either. The Gogo Plata was nearly on, but even if it does get on, it's going to be no good, and Umalatov won the unanimous decision there. Then we had Braga against Hizriev, which was I suppose of the top 4 fights, this was maybe the most disappointing. Um, if we hadn't seen Musayev Ramazanov won, maybe we could say that, but not the case because we had seen it before. But yeah, this was, how would you put it? I think this was a fight that you have two good guys in there, but they didn't shape up well against each other. It started off with Braga, funnily enough, stopping a Timur Kizriev takedown, which happened a lot throughout this fight. And because of that, it didn't really allow Kizriev to dominate the fight. So it kept it somewhat close, but he was always somewhat ahead. Braga was switching stances and landing well. Both landed some calf kicks, but Timur started coming into it more then, throwing a lot more straight shots. Braga was fainting, but he just wasn't throwing enough. For the fear of the takedown, allowed him not to get taken down, lost him the fight because he just wasn't throwing enough. Timur's jab and hooks are better than anything Braga was doing. Timur level change and got an easy takedown, but he got back up very, very quickly, and Timur won that round 10-9. So nothing too much to write home about. Timur leg kicks to the start of the second round, and Braga was landing a nice counter. But Timur was just faster in the pocket. Again, the speed. This will be very interesting, obviously, against Loughnane. The speed battle, if it stays on the feet, offensively and defensively. Timur is just faster, and he was happy to kind of touch him from the outside, knowing Braga isn't landing as much, and knowing he can't hit him with these power shots from that distance. So he's happy enough just to pick him apart. So many jabs. Braga, finally landed a right hand towards the bell, but it was no good. Timur went out straight away in the third round, went for a takedown, but it was stopped. Braga opening up a bit, but doesn't land many punches, and leg kicks are just easier to land, and that's kind of what he was doing. Timur very defensive now, circling, throwing the odd leg kick. It was a good technical battle, but not very exciting. The split decision went to Timur Kizriev again. I believe this was this Dave Turley? I believe it was. Hard to see a card there for Kizriev. But Kizriev and Loughnane, obviously we'll be talking a lot more about that in the coming weeks, but very good finale there. And then the last of the welterweights was Shamil Musayev against Murad Ramazanov. Now, these lads fought a couple of months ago, and Musayev, took the lunch money for Ramazanov, absolutely destroyed him. But the fight wasn't like that at all, and you must give him, this fight wasn't like that. You must give massive credit to Ramazanov. He came in here with a very detailed game plan to stay safe, go for takedowns, and honestly, it worked for him. But it was never going to win him the fight. Like this, for large periods, I even wrote in my notes, it was a bit of a sparring session at times. It was almost, I know Chael Sonnen has said this before, it's the thing where one fighter has agreed to not try to win, and the other guy has kind of agreed that he won't finish him. All right? So Musayev was always winning this fight, but Ramazanov was never getting finished type of thing. It was like, I don't know, and it's a subconscious, obviously I'm not saying they did it on purpose, but it's a subconscious thing, the way they fought, the way they started it. It was a victory for Ramazanov to, survive. For Musayev, anything but a win was a total embarrassment because of what happened in the last fight. Now, Ramazanov is a very good fighter, and that's not necessarily the case, but I think they'll both be happy to get out of this fight the way they did. Let's go through it. Ramazanov came out and he took the center. He was kind of dipping up and down. Shamil was landing some leg kicks. Murad got in a takedown, but it was unbelievable takedown defense from Musayev throughout this whole fight. A single leg by Murad, balance absolutely insane from Shamil. Right hand from Murad landed, which was a good shot, and then he dipped under for a double leg, which he did eventually get, but then Shamil straight back up. Murad was kind of chain wrestling, smart work from Murad. Knee from Shamil in the clinch, then a second in the clinch, and some late punches from Musayev. It maybe sounds like it might have been a Ramazanov round there. It wasn't. Shamil landed the better. Those late punches, as I said, and those knees inside were the best shots of the round. The second round, Shamil spun and he got caught in the clinch, but again showed brilliant takedown defense. And then he got his own takedown. He got a body lock trip of Murad, big shots on the ground from Shamil, got up to the clinch. Shamil tripped him again, landed some good ground and pound, moved to side control, but kind of slipped off. And then late in the round, he landed some nice punches as well to seal that round. Third round, both were trying to pick their shots on the feed. Moran landed first in Shamil, but there was very little in the first 90 seconds. Shamil 1-2s are very good. Past that, Murad takedown, again, no good up to the clinch. And both look very tired here. Shamil landed a combo, and this is where it kind of turned into a bit of a sparring session. Murad was kind of still coming forward, and he landed a right hand. Shamil got a takedown, and it got into a clinch and kind of, petered out a little bit from that point. So, look, Shamil showed how good he is, but without having to extend himself too much. And you know what? For a guy who's fighting again in another few weeks in the finale, Umalatov definitely extended himself more than Musayev did. So it'll probably be a benefit to him. Again, this wasn't a classic, but I'm looking forward to the finale. And the Bellator champion Ramazan Kuramagomedov, who is still out there as well. If he was to fight either of Umalatov or Musayev, it'd be really, really fun. So I'm looking forward to those fights happening. Other than that, there was some very fun stuff on the undercard. Ray Cooper against Mohamed Berkamov in the welterweight division was just before that. It was a relatively close fight. I'm not sure it was as close as a split decision for Berkamov suggested, but Berkamov came out in the southpaw position. He was keeping it long, landing a lot of leg kicks. Ray was looking for that big right hand, but he went under and got the clinch, which I was a bit surprised about. Ray Cooper going for a bit of a takedown. But Berkamov broke out, and he got a kind of a dumb takedown of his own. Ray got up, and then he got a takedown too. So very interesting start to the fight. Ray was in top half guard, went for the arm triangle, but he was on the wrong side, stayed on top. Berkamov was controlling the wrist, and Ray was landing some ground and pound. When they got up, Ray was just slanging, absolutely slanging. But Berkamov landed a knee, and then another knee, and then 2 or 3 more knees in the clinch. Lovely stuff from the Thai plum. Very nice knee again there, and a nice hook late from Ray Cooper. So an interesting round there. Slow start to the second round. Berkamov was looking a bit nervy as Cooper came forward. I think the power, he didn't want it, as you shouldn't. Didn't land much though. Berkamov was kind of touching with the jab. Ray not landing too much. Dull enough round, Berkamov landing more, but still not too much. Cooper landed one hard, one late hard round to score again, I thought. And then third round, again, not a whole lot. Berkamov kicking the leg. Cooper landed a good left hook. Berkamov got a takedown, and there's a lot of chain wrestling kind of from the back, and that was a large portions of the round. I thought Berkamov did enough. Again, not a classic. What was a classic though, very good fight between Tyler Diamond and Enrique Barzola. This was one of those fights where I was kind of watching it and not scoring it too much, and it came towards the end, and I was like, I have no idea who won this fight, but Enrique Barzola ended up getting the unanimous decision, assuming he won the second and third round here, because Diamond came out and hit him hard with a right hand. Diamond was kind of hurting Barzola, way more pop, I thought, on his shots. Barzola way less volume than usual because of that as well. I think, and it was smart, because I think that second and third round, he saved himself for that. Barzola came back midway through the first round and was landing a few more. Barzola jabs were getting him back into it, and he won most of the round. Diamond landed another right hand late, but I think that first right hand won him the round. The second round, Barzola was more confident. He landed a switch knee, or did he land it? I'm not sure if he landed, but he went for it, and it was close. Diamond was kind of spamming takedowns, chain wrestling, pressuring him, was landing well, but a lot of clinching. Good stuff though, a battle. Few takedown attempts against the cage. Diamond just relentless, punching into the clinch. Barzola didn't hurt him bad though, and Diamond just fell. I like, his on those shots, he punches him, and I was like, oh, did it hurt him with that? And he was like, no. Oh wait, he did. It was like Ric Flair. He took a few seconds to fall. Heavy ground and pound from the back, and then the round ended. So we're 1-1 at that stage. Diamond for a takedown, but it was a sprawl at the start to the third. Punches from Barzola, heavy exchanges. Diamond was mad for the takedown. Ends up getting punched from the sprawl though, and it was a sprawl round. There was so much of the round was in the sprawl, and Barzola was landing some good shots in there. So, Diamond eventually gets the takedown, but gets up. Barzola landed some good late ground and pound, and that was enough to win the fight. So a very good win for Barzola. I think I gave him as one of the bets of the week this week as well. So very, very good there. Then we had Jesse Stern against Jose Perez, and I'll put in my notes here, this is the perfect example of a let your hands go fight, right? Jose Perez came out here, and from the very first second, he let his hands go, and it won him the fight. Volume won him the fight. And we often watch fights, and the coaches or the crowd are let your hands go. You win that fight if you let your hands go. Perez, this is a fight you should show to people to understand what that means. Stern came out, he was looking like Tim Elliott, and Perez was just jabbing him and leg kicks, and they were working well. The pressure from Perez, Stern was landing a lot of those tippy-tappy kicks from the outside, but they were no good. Lovely body kicks from Perez. Stern was standing his ground and fighting a bit more towards the middle of the round, and it made it more even. He failed on a couple of takedowns. Perez was missing a lot, but his activity was beating Stern because Stern isn't a counter fighter. And as long as Perez was letting his hands go, Stern wasn't throwing any hands, and it was winning him the fight. Even if he missed, if he threw 10 shots and only landed 2, there was none coming back from Stern, so it was winning him the fight. So it was very smart, really, really smart, I thought, from Perez. Definitely Perez round. Second round, Stern was having a bit more success from the outside. Perez knocked him down with a hard 1-2. Some nice leg kicks from Perez. Then Stern was landing leg kicks of his own, but a lot of shots landed from Perez late in the round. Almost had an arm triangle to a definite 2-0 at the end of that round. Stern was trying, but Perez was just beating him to the punch in the third round. You could see again here, speed was a real killer for him here, but timing more so than speed, actually. Landed a right hand that snaps the head of Stern in a way that couldn't be reciprocated. Stern wasn't hitting him with the same vigor. Stern was now throwing at 100%, and he was landed an uppercut and a hook, but it didn't really hurt Perez. Perez got a body lock, trip, takes the back body triangle mount. Arm triangle was no good. Perez dominating on top, and to me a clear 30-27 for Perez. The last 2 fights then were finishes. Was everything else a decision? It was, yeah. So we had how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 decisions and 2 early finishes. And there were 2 fun fights as well. In the heavyweight division, we had Maxwell Nana against Kent Mafileo even, which was a good enough fight. Nana landed a leg kick and a right hand straight away out the gate here. Kent landed a leg kick of his own. A lot of leg kicks throughout the night. Nana landed a hard leg kick then, but he was more technical, Nana. You could see that. But Kent was throwing a lot. Very tough and a very good chin. Nana was slipping. He was slipping. His feet. Do you know when you watch the start of fights, they throw water in over the cage and the guy washes the bottom of his feet in water? The reason, and I never knew this until recently, the reason they do that is because it oddly gives you friction and you don't be slipping. Don't be. That's the Mokanee look there for any Irish people, isn't it? You won't be slipping. But he obviously didn't do that, so he was slipping all over the place. I know it's counterintuitive, you put water to stop you slipping, but it does. And I don't know if he did it between rounds or not, but throughout the round, it actually got better. He was reaching in because of that, though, and then Kent's leg was hurt because Nana was landing a lot of leg kicks, but then Kent landed a nice hook combo, and he landed a nice right hand, and the sleepy feet were just a big problem for Nana here. Hard inside leg kicks from Nana and nice body work as well from him. I'm not sure if they did it between rounds. I don't think they showed it, but Nana was kind of kicking him up and getting takedowns at the start of the second. Kent never gave up, though. Nana was attacking the body and the feet and being more technical with his picked shots. Kent just couldn't break the distance, and Nana 1-2 was very, very good throughout this fight. Kent was still landing the odd one, but then Kent was hurt to the head, then hurt to the body by Nana, and then slept with a big shot. He doubled up on the right hand, so he hit the right hand first, opened up the guard, second one, knocked him out. So a lovely finish. And this Nana looks a real good fighter. He's 33 years of age, 6-1. Lost his debut, so he's won 6 fights in a row. Fought over and won championship, and this is first fight he's fought UAE Warriors as well, and this is his first fight here in PFL, so I'm looking forward to seeing what the future holds for him. And then the first fight of the night was Shido Boris against Tyler Hill, and Shido looked very, very good. Hill started with a nice jab. Shido kind of barrels forward and throws bombs. Hill lands some too. Then Hill got hurt, stumbled. Shido got on top. I thought my recording device was just gone there, but it didn't. Anyway, Shido got on top into mount, went into an arm triangle, but he managed to escape. Side control for Shido into the crucifix, ground and pound, and he nearly escaped a couple of times. Hill kept fighting, and fair play to him. He fought his best here to Tyler Hill, went for the Americana, again slipped out of that. Rear naked choke from Shido, got out again, but then got to the back, ground and pound, and he ended up finishing him at 3:31 of the first round. So that was it. That's the card in total. Let's run through the results again just before we go. Shido Boris defeated Tyler Hill via TKO, as I just mentioned. 3:31 round 1, 4:50 of round 2 for Maxwell Nana against Kent Maffeo. And then we had a boatload of decisions. It was a unanimous decision for both Jose Perez over Jesse Stern and Enrique Barzola over Tyler Diamond. There was a split decision for Mohamed Burkamov against Ray Cooper to close out the undercard. And then on the main card, there was unanimous decision wins for Musayev and Umalatov respectively in the welterweight. Pitcher Musayev beating Ramazanov and Gracie being defeated by Umalatov. And then there was split decision wins for both Brendan Loughnane and Timur Kizriev over Gabriel Braga for Kizriev and Kaika Maka III for Loughnane, who will now set up the finale of Brendan Loughnane, Timur Kizriev, Magomed Umalatov, and Shamil Musayev. All right, everybody, thank you very much for tuning in. That's all from me here tonight at 5:58 a.m. in beautiful Ireland. If you respect the grind, give us a thumbs up, give us a comment in the comment section below, and give us a subscribe as well if you would. Thank you very much for tuning in. My name is Sheehan for Sherdog.com, and I'll see you all next time.